A black queer homeless Portlander was found hanging from a tree. Lynched. Police say it's a suicide. So that this case doesn't get any hate crime implications. So this case can't be filed under that new lynching law that all of them Democrats put into place. When I told you they don't never call lynchings, they call them what? Suicides? Her family disagrees though. On the afternoon of May 27th, police officer found the body of a black queer homeless person hanging from a tree in Rocky Butte Park. According to the Portland Police Bureau, the death of Otis T.T. Gully, 31, has been ruled a suicide. Her family, however, isn't quick to settle on this conclusion. Within weeks after her death, Gully's family is still struggling to find answers about the mysterious circumstances surrounding the end of her life. Since the night of Gully's death, they have found the PPB to be unreceptive to their concerns. Kenya Robinson, Gully's mother, told the Mercury that she believes some of this indifference has to do with Gully's identity. You didn't ask any questions, said Robinson, referring to the PBB. You saw a black man in a tree. I'm going to repeat that. You saw a black man in a tree who was homeless, who was in a homeless camp, and you wrote him off as being a transient homeless and wrote it off as a suicide. So they didn't hang him because he was trans. They didn't hang him because he was gay. They hung him because he was black. Gully's friends do not believe she died from a suicide. In the weeks following her death, many of them contacted her family claiming that Gully had been murdered and was hung from a tree to make it look like a suicide. They said there were other homeless people that have witnessed it and some that had video. The Mercury has not independently confirmed any of these rumors, but every time Gully's family has attempted to inform PPB about what they have been hearing, they have been met with either bureaucratic confusion or cold indifference. And I'm going to ask you, why do you think they're getting cold indifference? Do you think it's because he was gay? Do you think the cold indifference had to do with him being trans? Do you think the cold indifference had anything to do with which pronoun he chose or she chose to use? Or do you think it had to do with the very melanin that seeps out of his pores? One example, Robinson was given the name of a PPB East Precinct officer who was supposed to be handling the case. When she called him to report the rumors, he said he was not actually assigned to the case. So she contacted PPB to find out who was the case assigned to. And she was given the same officer's name. When she didn't get through to an officer and gave him the alleged suspect name, they pushed back, telling her it had already been ruled a suicide, casting all doubt on the rumors. So they're not even investigating. Gully's brother, Richard Bryan, used to be a police cadet. He said he isn't surprised by PPB's response. It is not lost on me that all of the weeks and days of protesting that our young people have been doing has now been co-opted by the LGBTQ movement. And they were actually able to get shit done with their names specifically on the books. Not some vague term for sexuality. No, that wasn't enough for them. They got their names on the law books. Here's the problem that we have, okay, with the LGBTQ getting civil rights. Here's the problem. I did not see all of those white shirts marching with us in the 60s. I didn't see dogs being sicked on them. I didn't see water hoses getting turned on them. I didn't see them getting their ass whooped in the streets. I don't see them getting shut down in the streets. So how in the hell do you get to ride on our ass and get the benefits and rights that we're not even receiving off of the shit that we fought for? We fought for civil rights, and the civil rights are benefiting everybody but black people. How is that happening? And that is the issue that we have with the LGBTQ. Fight for your own shit. Get off our nuts. Stop attaching yourself to our movements when you don't care about the black men that are found hanging and lynched. And you sit there and cover it up just like the police department because all of y'all are intertwined. At the same time, while they're getting their names on the law books, they are ignoring. And at the same time, while they got their names on the law books, at the same time, while they are co-opting our protests, when they are wearing all white, when we are wearing all black, they are talking about something completely different from Black Lives Matter, which includes all black people, no matter of sexual orientation or whatever you identify with or what pronoun you decide to use. All while they are co-opting, they are closing their eyes, turning their backs, and shutting down all of the stories about this black, queer, transgender man, woman, whichever pronoun he, she decides to use. I'm not here to choose that for them. They're ignoring the fact that this man was lynched and the police are calling it a suicide. So where are your LGBTQ brethren and sistren and those that don't use pronouns? Where are they to fight for you when you are in the house of Ed Buck while he's shooting you up with drugs and letting you die and suffering no consequences until the black media said something about it? Because we care about you no matter no matter who you sleep with, no matter what your sexual orientation is. You're still black, and I still care about you. And I don't want them killing you and hanging you from a tree because you're black.
Number one, before we go any further, number one, first and foremost, it will be understood that the agenda must address black people and only black people. We are not here to discuss every ill of society. We are not going to sit up here and let you divert and detour the conversation into non-black issues. We're not going to let you do what the New York Times, this dirty, filthy piece of crap, white supremacist, historical news, so-called newspaper outlet has done. That when black people start beating on white supremacy, they jump in and say, all right, enough of that now. Let's talk about other issues. No. And, well, we sent some Negro flunkies to sit up here and tell you, hey, you got to listen to them. No, we don't. We are identifying collaborators. If you hear somebody tell you, well, the issue is all black lives, we already said black lives. To say all black lives is redundant. Well, we need to discuss what happened to LGBT. No, you want us to stop talking about white supremacy, and you are a collaborator. Which is why the white media wants to magnify that and amplify it, and we will not let them change the subject. First and foremost, the agenda must address black people and only black people, period, full stop. Not minority, not black and brown, not any other additions, no additives, all preservatives. When black people are specifically targeted and harmed by the government, they always lead off when we say it's time for solutions by saying we need to do something for black people. The discussion always starts about black people to get us calmed down whenever we rise up. But invariably, politicians in the media, when it's time to discuss the allocation of resources to rectify and remedy the problem, which is the struggle and discrimination against black people, they start off by using our name and then divert the resources intended to help us into helping everyone except us. So the problem begins because 100% of the issue is what's wrong with black people, but when it's time for the solution, all of a sudden the remedy is 3% directed towards black people. That is a bait and switch game that has been going on for the longest, and we are calling it out that before we discuss anything, the issue is black people for black people, only black people. We are going to deal with this problem alone. And anything else comes later down the line. We'll know the issue is fixed when we tell you it's fixed. It has been an unforgivable insult to see programs like affirmative action, which was originally supposedly set aside meant to correct white supremacist racial injustice against black people, and then to see white people receive affirmative action resources intended for the very black people that their white privilege has been victimizing. No more bait and switch language. The agenda begins, but we are setting the table by saying we are here to discuss black people, what black people need, and what black people are due to get. The remedy for black people, not transgender, not humpbacks, not women, not people of color, not minorities. If you are a black person, we are talking about what is necessary for you in a system to overturn this system of white supremacy that victimizes us all with impunity. So first and foremost, that is where it begins. If the discussion is not framed in that light from the very start, then in the words of Dr. John Henrik Clarke, it is illegitimate. And it is out of order, and it needs to be immediately aborted. We are not going to sit down and discuss black people indirectly. We are going to discuss black people only, and any attempt to veer and steer in another direction will be called out for what it is, and we're getting up and walking away and taking back to the streets.
Pages are being blocked and censored enormously. You guys know I've always been shadow banned. That's why I had to change my name. But now they're blocking me from doing lives. I don't have as many followers as other people, and I can't seem to have my audio and visual and video to sync correctly. All of a sudden, it's just impossible for me to do a live no matter where I am, whether I'm on Wi-Fi or using phone internet. I cannot seem to have a live where my audio and my video are linked together. So to combat this, I have to do editing. They're forcing me to edit. And they're not even telling you when I have a new video posted. They're flagging some of them before I can even post them up. So just sign up for these text alerts. That way I can let you know when I have posted a new story. Sign up for free text alerts. You can find the link in my bio or in the description.